Kylee, and since Thanksgiving is just a couple days away, I decided us vegan and vegetarians needed a special dish. Now the main dish on Thanksgiving is turkey, so today's recipe is actually going to be vegan holiday turkey. It's a great recipe and it'll give us something to be even more thankful for. Now typically a vegan turkey recipe will contain tofu. However, in this recipe it's actually gluten flour that we're going to be using to make our vegan holiday turkey loaf. So what is gluten? Well, gluten is actually the protein extracted from wheat and other grains. It's a very high source of protein. In a fourth of a cup of gluten flour, it contains 23 grams of protein. So it's very high in protein. But there are a couple drawbacks to gluten flour. Some people are allergic to gluten, and it is called celiac disease because it's a gluten intolerance. Also, gluten flour is not a complete protein. It's missing the essential amino acid lysine. But if you pair it together with a legume, then you'll have a complete protein going on. Okay, first off what we're going to do is you're going to want to put 2 quarts of water into a pot and start to boil it. Now, once we're done forming our loaf, we're going to put it into the boiling water. Also, you're going to need a cheesecloth. Now, this you can find at a natural food store usually. Just ask them for the cheesecloth if you don't know what it is or where to find it. But we're going to wrap the loaf into the cheesecloth and then put it into the boiling water and boil it for 1 hour. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to mix the dry ingredients in one bowl and then the wet ingredients in another bowl, and then combine them. So first off, we have 2.5 cups of Vital gluten flour. I'm going to add half of a cup of nutritional yeast flakes. Then I have 1 teaspoon of thyme. And I have half of a teaspoon of rubbed sage. I also have 1 teaspoon of onion powder. 1 teaspoon of salt, and then I have 2 teaspoons of McKay's vegan chicken seasoning that I'm going to add to this. Now I have the McKay's chicken seasoning here so you can see what it looks like. This is actually optional. You don't have to put this in the recipe if you don't want to. I like the taste of it, so I put it in there, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So we're just going to mix this all up until it's nice and combined completely. Okay, now that that's finished mixing, now we're going to mix in our wet ingredients. I have 2 cups of vegetable broth, 1/4 cup of olive oil, or you can use any other oil as long as it doesn't have a strong taste. And I used virgin olive oil, that way the taste isn't as strong. And then I have 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. I like to use Bragg's liquid amino. You can use whatever soy sauce you're wanting to. And then we're just going to whisk this together. If you have a whisk, great. If you don't, you can use a fork like me because I haven't bought a whisk yet. Okay, next all we're going to do is just combine the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. And then just stir it until it's completely stirred together. Okay, so now that we have everything mixed together, now we're going to form this into a loaf and put it onto our cheesecloth. You can see here I already have my cheesecloth all set out and ready to go, and we're just going to wrap it in there. So you can take the mixture, and we're just going to kind of form it into a little bit of a loaf, put it on the cheesecloth, and now we're just going to wrap it. And when you're wrapping it, you don't want to wrap it too tight because then it will be too hard, but you don't want to do it too loose because then it'll be too spongy. So you just kind of want to wrap it in a normal way, I guess. Once you're done wrapping it, we're going to take the ends, and I have a couple of strings here. So we're going to tie the ends to close it. And again, you want to let it have a little bit of room because it will grow and expand, but you don't want to do it too tight. All right. Okay, so we've tied the ends. Now I have 2 extra pieces because I'm going to put these in the middle of the loaf because we don't want it to untie itself. Okay, now you could just use some string if you want to. I had an extra cheesecloth, so I just cut it up and used that as well. So now we're going to put this into our boiling water. And you're also going to want to turn down your stove to about a medium heat so it's on a low simmer. Okay, so it's finished, so we can go ahead and take it out of the pot. Okay, so here it is. It's nice and hot. Now we're just going to cut those ties and untie it. You can wait for it to cool off for a little bit if you want to, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut them. Okay, so here's our vegan holiday turkey loaf. You can carve it and serve it like this if you want to. However, I'm going to add another step to this and add what looks like a type of skin for our turkey. And that'll be the next step. Okay, so here's the final step. This is the skin of the turkey. And here I just have some puff pastry. You can go find it in your grocery store, read the label, make sure it is a vegan one. And I'm just gonna roll it out with my rolling pin to make the covering for our turkey loaf. Okay, so I have it rolled out. We're just going to place our turkey over it and start to wrap it up. Okay, you're just going to form it in your hands, and on the bottom of your pan, you're going to add a little bit of olive oil just so it doesn't stick to the bottom. And then you place your turkey loaf into the pan. Okay, now we're just going to brush the top of it with some olive oil so it will make it nice and brown and crispy. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and stick this in the oven at 400 degrees for 25 minutes. Okay, our vegan holiday turkey loaf is finished. Now all we have to do is plate it, and then it's ready to be carved and served. And it really does smell like Thanksgiving in here after you make this. So here it is, our vegan holiday turkey loaf, ready to be served and carved up. And for leftovers, if you slice it thinly, it makes wonderful sandwiches. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. Really try this recipe for Thanksgiving. It's a wonderful recipe, and there's so much to be thankful for. So I hope you guys have a good Tofurkey day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.